Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show this evening. Tonight's guest, we have one of the attorneys for Kevin Cooper. Kevin Cooper is a gentleman that's been on death row for 32 years. He's maintained his innocence for 32 years. This man was scheduled to be executed. 3 hours prior to his execution, he was stopped. The Supreme Court judge stopped his execution. Since that time, he has tried to get his case heard for the last 13 years. He's trying to get back in court. Why hasn't he got back in court? So tonight we have Kevin Cooper, which is calling from death row. This man is innocent. We want to help this man get back in court to prove his innocence. If a person is 3 hours from being executed and the judge stopped it, why? Why hasn't this man been back in court? 13 years he's been trying to get back in court. Why isn't he back in court? So tonight's guest, we have David Alexander, one of Kevin Cooper's attorneys. In the studio, we have Kevin Cooper calling from death row. We want to get feedback from both gentlemen. We have a line open, 415-861-6645. We want you to call in and ask questions about this. You know, this man needs to get back in court and get his freedom back. So tonight's guest, we have David Alexander, one of Kevin Cooper's attorneys. Welcome to the show, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you very much, Wendell. It's always good to be back, and it's always to be good. I see Kevin as much as I can.
Yes.
And it's always good to hear him and let him speak because he knows his case the best.
Exactly. Now, we want to briefly get Kevin on the phone right quick because we have 30 minutes. We want to get him on the phone, and we want him to explain some things to the audience because I just met Kevin in our last interview, and I read the book, outstanding book. I advise everybody and anybody to get the book and read the book.
The book is called Scapegoat, The Chino Hills Murders and the Framing of Kevin Cooper by Patrick O'Connor, and you can get it. You can get that book. If you have any trouble getting that book, contact me, David Alexander. It's davidtoddalexander@gmail.com, and we'll make sure you get it.
I reiterate, outstanding book. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Yes. Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to do whatever we can to assist you in your getting a new trial. Now, Kevin, now was 3 hours short from being executed. The judge.
Well, a little longer than that. 3 hours and 42 minutes.
42 minutes. Okay. Okay. Exactly.
I may say so. Next Thursday, February the 9th, makes 13 years since my near-death experience at the hands of the executioners up here in San Quentin Prison. That night, February 9th, 2004, I would have been murdered if it hadn't been for Mr. Alexander there, who's there in your studio.
Right.
But I came within 3 hours and 42 minutes of being strapped down to that gun, injected with lethal poison, tortured, and murdered by these volunteer executioners here in San Quentin. Mm-hmm. I am lucky to be alive, and despite the fact over these last 13 years, we have come up with new evidence, even new witnesses who've seen certain people driving the stolen car of the murdered victims. I am still here on death row, still facing a possible execution for murders that I did not commit.
Right.
I need some help.
Yes,
and
you do.
I hope and I pray that somebody, somewhere out there who's listening to this, may decide to help to get it done.
Yes.
If anybody has any questions that they or want to find out information about my case, they can go to my website, which is www.freekevincooper.org.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to just emphasize that what Kevin just said, there's so much that was done to frame Kevin back in 1983, 84, 85, and subsequently on appeals that it's impossible to summarize, and I want to open up to the audience so people can ask Kevin questions. But go to that website, and you will it'll knock your socks off when you see what's going on. And just to update everybody, almost a year ago, we filed our petition with Governor Brown And a year's gone by, and he still has not yet, although we're hoping he will, order the Attorney General's office, and we have a new Attorney General now, to respond to that petition so we can, move on. It's not just the wrongful conviction. This man is wrongfully incarcerated
Exactly.
in about 4.5 by 10-foot cell
Exactly.
for all this period of time.
Exactly.
And I'll leave it at that. There's more. There's much more to say, but it is about as compelling as can be. And I'd like to indicate, I'll do it later, some of the people who are supporting us have written letters to Governor Brown, and again, they are the most prominent people in the human rights, civil rights, prisoners' rights movement, and these are not people that lend their name to a cause lightly, both organizations and individuals.
I'd like to reiterate that, the last interview we had with Kevin Cooper, I went out of the studio and I started telling people that this man had been on death row for 31 years, and he's been trying to get a new trial for 7 years. That's an error on my part. This man has been on death row for 32 years.
Yeah, just about
30.
1985.
Since 1985.
1985.
He was hours short from being executed. He was put back on death row. He's been trying to get a new trial for 13 years. Now, if something wrong with this picture, okay, this man execution was stopped. If a judge stopped a man from being executed, there was something wrong with that. Something wrong with that. Okay, for a judge to stop that. Okay, there had to be. If not, he would be dead now. So when we have to make sure that this man's case is looked at, we got to make sure this man gets back in court. It's been 13 years. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense. Bring this man back in front of a judge in a jury, give the evidence that he has to be heard in front of a judge and jury, find this man innocent and send this man home. It's too long, way too long. We need to do something about that. We have a phone number on the board now, and I'm going to reiterate the number again, 415-861-6648. Call and ask questions about this man, innocent man on death row.
All right, Kevin, you wanted to say something more?
Yes, the petition that Mr. Alexander was referring to is a clemency petition. It's a petition which proves all the things that we have said. It has all the evidence that we have discovered over the years. And we sent all of this in front of the governor. And so far, he has not replied to the petition, even though it's going on a year. The 17th of February will be exactly 1 year since we filed our clemency petition with Governor Jerry Brown.
We know the governor's busy, but my goodness, what I mean, this is something that a man's life is at stake here. He's been sitting on death row for 32 years.
Yeah, well, we're hoping now that soon, and we're really asking for very limited relief. We're not saying let Kevin out, although we think we know that's where it'll lead. We're simply asking we were not allowed to put before the court incredible exculpatory evidence that shows Kevin's innocence and how he was, and I know we don't like to think law enforcement does bad things, but some of them do, particularly down in San Bernardino in 1983 through 85, where the name of the game is winning. It's not justice.
Right.
It's winning. And they'll do whatever they need to win. We simply want the governor to allow us and allow an independent person to look at what we have and evaluate it. And if he determines that Kevin is likely innocent or innocent, to end this horror that Mr. Cooper's been subjected to. So we're not just saying open the doors right away. Frankly, it's justified. We're much milder on that, but we simply want the state to finally have to respond so that we can move on. And maybe it was because of the death penalty proposition that he just held up on it. And this is not, obviously it's a tough thing for any individual to do, but we're hoping he will now finally focus on it. And he's a good man. And we trust him, and we've got a new Attorney General who we think is also a very good man. And so we're obviously cautiously optimistic, but it's overwhelming. Go on the website and read it. It is just overwhelming.
Sure. And by all.
May I add this? That whether people are being executed in the streets by police or executed back here by executioners, it's all part of the same institution, part of the same system. They are murdering us. We poor people, especially you poor black and brown people, are being systematically targeted and murdered by these people. Everybody knows what's going on. This is no secret. And the only way people like me are ever going to get any type of justice, if there's anything called justice, is if you out there get involved with us back here. And so I respectfully ask anybody out there to get involved with this movement, with this struggle, because this is not just about me. This is about a system who has historically and systematically murdered people who look like me. And you know that because you probably look like me. And if you don't look like me by the color of your skin, you probably look like me because of the class.
Right.
Yep.
Because you're poor.
Exactly.
This is about the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly.
I am a have-not. The haves have not made it back here on death row. Everybody who's on death row is poor. These people get off by executing poor people. And they call it justice. They say it's fair. It's not fair. And yet here I am.
And what we're seeing increasingly throughout the country is the number of wrongful convictions that have occurred. And they've been going on for a long, long time. We now just have the technology and the like to expose them. Mm-hmm. And it is getting to epidemic proportions. But Kevin's is not a case of one piece of evidence that shows he's innocent. It is a multitude of pieces of evidence that the jury never heard, that frankly the prosecution in instances withheld, destroyed, tampered with, and just so much more. It's impossible to summarize.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we have to get on board with this. We have to get on board, and we have to help Kevin get back in court. We have to put up. We got to put up and make things happen for this man that's been on death row all these years to get on get on in court and have this judge look at what was not presented in this trial. We have to get him in court.
This call and your telephone
See,
number will be
so
monitored and
so
recorded.
the audience that's looking at our show this evening, see, this show is going to be tomorrow. This show will be put on YouTube. It'll be worldwide. Everybody that's about something is going to be able to look at this show tomorrow. Go on YouTube and be able to look at this show and listen to what's being said. This man has been on death row way too long.
Kevin, call back in as soon as we lose this one, if you would, please.
It's been on death row way too long. So we have to do something about this. We have to put up or either shut up. Okay, the phone number is 415-861-6648. Call, ask questions. If you're concerned, if you're wondering why he's been on death row for so long, if you are wondering why the judge stopped the execution, if you're wondering why it's been 13 years that this man has been trying to get back in court, ask why.
I just wanted to add one other thing, and Kevin will call back in a second. They control the phone calls from San Quentin Death Row, and he has to call back in again, and hopefully will. But I wanted to make the point that a lot of people ask, well, if he didn't do it, who did? Well, number one, it's not his obligation to show that. But in point of fact, and I'm not going to, for obvious reasons, get into it anymore, we have a very, very substantial proof and basis for who is involved in what were undoubtedly, and nobody denies it, horrendous murders. Mm-hmm. And you'll see some of that also on the website. All right, he's calling in again. Kevin? I'm not sure.
Kevin's calling in right now. We're trying to get him back on the phone. He's calling from Death Row. He's been there for 32 years, and he's calling from Death Row to plead his case to the audience to help him get back in court and be able to state his case in front of a judge and jury.
Kevin?
And allow him to be able to come back into society and be part of this world out here, this free society. So if you're listening, if you're looking at the show tonight, come forward. Ask the questions that need to be asked. Allow Kevin to explain the things that you're questioning about. Allow him to come in and ask the questions and give you some relief, give you some understanding on what's being done to this gentleman that's on death row for the last 32 years. We need your help. We need your help. He has the book that's been
Kevin?
Printed, and the information that's been printed is outstanding. I read the book, and I was amazed at how much information that was given after the fact that was not presented in this trial. So you need to listen, read, and get an understanding on
Kevin?
what's being done to this man on death row for the last 32 years.
All right, you're back? All right. Yeah, I know. For some reason I'm having trouble getting the volume up. So let me try my best.
There we go.
I got you now.
We're back on.
Let me just mention one thing I would like people to know about, unless we've got some calls coming in. I'd like to give you an idea of the organizations and individuals, and this is just some of them, who have written in support of Kevin's case after reviewing virtually, we've sent them anything they wanted. And that includes the American Bar Association, which is, as I like to say, nobody's for certain that this is the first time they've done it, but nobody's aware of any other time where they've gotten behind a matter like this. The National Bar Association, which is predominantly African-American lawyers, and you all know Benjamin Crump or know of him, who represented Trayvon Martin. Mm-hmm. They've written. Brian Stevenson, whose Equal Justice Initiative down in I guess it's in Alabama, who wrote the book Just Mercy, which I highly recommend. The former governor of the state of Texas, the former Supreme Court Justice of California, Cruz Reynoso, the Innocence Projects of California and Barry Scheck, the ACLU, the former Attorney General of the state of California, Mr. Vandekamp, at the Bishop of Sacramento, of the diocese in Sacramento, Bishop Soto. Jesse Jackson has lent his support. We're going to get a letter. But maybe most importantly, and it's only in a press release, the report has not come out yet, but the Office of the High Commissioner of the United Nations on Human Rights has said that they will be contacting the governor regarding Kevin's case. We also have Amnesty International. We have Mike Farrell, the head of Death Penalty Focus. We have two.
Inter-American Commission for Human Rights.
These are not people who lightly lend their name to a cause because it's their credibility on the line, and they don't want to be wrong. So I just wanted to mention that to people who are listening, so that this isn't just an attorney advocating for his client. Whether you believe me or don't believe me or others on our team, and by the way, this is a team effort with Norm Heil of the Oric Law Firm leading the way at this point. I just want you to know, these are the quality and character of the people who have looked at this case and have said, we've got to do something.
Kevin, we want to take this time to thank you for coming on to the show. We want to do everything that we can to assist you and help you in regaining your freedom. If we have to bring you back in some weeks to come, we'll do that. We want to do what we can. We have this show is going on YouTube tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It'll be worldwide. Anybody that has a computer, a telephone, anything, this will be seen in Africa, this will be seen in Australia, this will be seen in England, this will be seen around the world tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So people will see this and they will hear our plead to help you regain your freedom tomorrow. So if you didn't get no calls in tonight, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Tomorrow you will be seen around the world. Okay, and I have a very large following, so you will be seen, my brother.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for your help and your support.
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
not the first time that you reached out to help us, and I hope it's not the last.
It won't.
I definitely need your help because I do respect you and appreciate you,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
I
sir.
understand what you've been through
Yes, sir.
at the hands of America's criminal justice system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we have to reach back and help those that's not able to help themselves. You're not able to help yourself right now. So thank you for coming on the show, Kevin, and we'll tune in again soon. Stay strong, my brother. Keep on doing what you're doing.
And Wendell, I want to say thank you for having me
Yes, sir.
back again. This is so important. Kevin has become almost like a brother to me.
Right.
And not almost like, and we just cannot allow a horrific offense like the wrongful conviction and incarceration of a gentleman to persist.
Okay, thank you very kindly. You guys tune in Saturday night, 7 o'clock, and go to YouTube tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Thank you.